Wow.
Yes. We only go in a half a mile and come out a half a mile, so we're going to do about a 1 mile walk. That is due to a lake. There is a lake at the back of our cave that has a protected species of catfish that are blind. They're solid white, and we have crawfish as well. They're blind, and they're almost translucent because there is no light. They don't need color or have color, so they're protected species.
If you catch one, you have to release it? Or is
yeah.
It, yeah.
It'd be very hard to catch it. You have to take a guided tour to get to that lake, and the only way you can see the lake is through what we call the Wild Cave Tour, and that would just lead you down to the edge of the lake, and you can see the lake. They don't go inside the lake, but it's the water is just crystal clear. I mean, you can't even see the water when you get there. It's like that clear.
Wow.
Like, oh, there's more cave there, but you're looking at a lake, and it's pretty amazing. It is a little wet. It has rained for a few days now, so the water is dripping a little bit. Now, this became a state park in 1932. 1932, they came in, they started doing some cleanup here. This was the exit, not the entrance to the cave. The historic entrance was further on the north side of Park Road 4. They brought in prisoners to clean up this debris, and then they also ran basic electricity with the prisoners from burning. Now, that didn't last very long. The locals didn't like the prisoners here. So they went back. State workers come in for a while, and they kept working. And then the real cleanup for the cave actually came in 1934. And that was the formation of the CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps. They came in and they started working. Now, these guys would enlist for work 6 months at a time. So they got paid $30 a month, basically $1 a day. And they only got to keep $5 a month for themselves. 25 went back to their families. Yeah, and that was actually good pay back then. But there was a lot of work to be done here. So the guys, they lived here on the grounds. They had the barracks they lived in, and then all their food was taken care of, so they didn't have to spend their own money. But they did get to keep the money they had in their pocket. But it boiled down to about 17 cents a day that they got to keep in their pocket for 8 hours worth of work.
Wow.
Yes. So they gave you some plastic cards?
Oh, yeah.
You got those cards with you. I just have to have those back so I can give them back. I can have up to 40 on a tour. I'm not a fan of that, but
You got to keep up with 40 people.
yeah. It did some work. Gate.
Wow, it's just, instantly dark.
Oh yeah, and it gets like, now this is what we call the foyer decay. Like I said, in the past this was the exit, not the entrance. So I'll show you where the original entrance was in the past.
I know I forgot to change.
Oh,
I
Lord.
hope I'm going to be okay.
So this is what we call the foyer decay. There are some smaller formations here we kind of point out. This right here is what we call flowstone. It is actually a horizontal stalactite formation. And there's water flowing over the top of it. That's what they call flowstone. And then we have some small stalactites. They're right here. They're about 1 inch long. Rule of thumb is it takes 100 years to grow 1 inch. So there's kind of slow forming. Now, if there was drips on the bottom from that, and they were forming a stalagmite, that would be on the bottom. And if they grow together, that's a column. So that's some of the basic formations. The most important part of our cave is we tell you do not touch the cave walls, because your oil from your hands will actually damage a formation. And you never know where the formations are, because they just kind of all blends in. So I'm going to show you with this black light. The white area is a stalactite forming. So it is still growing in that area. And if you were to touch that with your hands, it would actually turn all purple, and it wouldn't be growing anymore. So this is how we can tell if the formations are still growing by this black light.
Huh. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So we're going to head to the next section, and it's what we call Crystal City. Crystal City has what we call glass houses. You only get to see one side. One side is shut down right now due to some maintenance. But we'll get to see one glass house. And the first publication for it was in 1879. Watch your head.
Oh, yay. For a little bit.
Watch your head again. So this is what we call our glass house. So you go up these steps and come back down this ramp, and you'll see what we call the glass house. It is actually calcite crystals. So this is what you're going to see in this room right here.
We can...
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? Here, maybe I can... Yeah. I'm going to put on the flash, maybe that'll... Okay. Mm-hmm. Give me, I'm just, it's going down in the slope and... Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Here, wait, let me take a picture of you. I'm going to try to get that back there. It's going to flash. Okay. Yep. Be careful here. It's a little bit slippery right there. Thank you.
A little tight through there.
Yeah. It's pretty though.
I forgot to put on my tennis shoes. They're in the car. We got in, I'm like, oh, I forgot the tennis shoes.
All right, so put this light here. We're gonna head on forward. Let me see if I can spot any of our little bats. Yeah, there's one.
Really? Oh my goodness, look.
Oh yeah.
So this is what we call the tricolored bat.
Is it gonna fly?
No, they're pretty well out. The rain does get them stirred up. We can usually get in within a foot of it. They don't bother. So this is what we call the tricolored bat.
Huh.
And they are brown, blonde, and black. Yep, there is another one up there. And they will fly out at night, and they will eat 25% of their body weight within 30 minutes of leaving the cave.
Wow.
So they're very efficient in getting mosquitoes. Mosquitoes and moths are their favorite meals.
Well, I like the part of the mosquitoes.
All right? You got another one right here, actually. This one's a little closer.
So the light,
As long as you
How
come
do
in
they-
from behind. But most of these are actually outside in the trees.
oh,
They're
okay.
not even in the cave, so yeah, the light doesn't really affect them. So we try to just keep the light from behind.
So do they live in trees?
They will live in caves, but this cave is actually a little too cool for them. So the ones that are in here are little oddball bats. But most of them, most of them do live outside in the trees.
Okay.
Yeah. Another one over there.
Yeah. You got a little stream here.
Yep. Cavern gutter.
Oh, there.
Oh, one bat flew by us.
Really? Oh,
Yep,
look at
I
this.
just saw it too. I think.
Flying all around. Look at that thing.
So this is Rocky. Rocky is our queen's watchdog. Now this is a natural formation that was found at the back of the cave and was brought up here to put on display because it looks so much like a dog.
And it cannot, that cannot be natural.
It was carved by the river. And you haven't seen the best part. Wait until we come to the other side.
Okay.
Come to the other side.
Wow.
Are you serious? This is. I don't think
So this is actually Dolomite. Dolomite is another form of limestone, separate than this room. This limestone above is what we call Ellenberger limestone. This is Dolomite. Now this was found at the back of the cave in the debris and then brought up here and put on display. It is what we call our queen's watchdog. It is guarding our queen's throne. And this is our queen's throne behind us. Now, before 1932, before it became a state park, young ladies would actually come and, oh, there goes the bat. There he goes. Young ladies would come and sit right here on this perch and have their picture taken below the stalactites. Now, they were not very nice. They actually broke off the stalactites, took them home as souvenirs. So this is heavily damaged. So this is actually no longer growing. But this is how we tell people cave conservation. not disturbing the cave. But if you look on this far side over here, there is a couple of names with a date for sure from 1919.
Watch the water.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
1919. So next year will be 100 years that these two left their names. The top name, Delia, she was 13 when she did that, and Carl on the bottom was actually 11 when he was down here when they carved those names.
Okay.
Pretty neat stuff, huh?
Yep.
Let's just get our light here. Now there is a cave back behind me. This is what they call Lover's Lane. It is part of the Wild Cave Tour. So they have a basement system that goes in the back of this cave and underneath, and they take people through there on Saturdays. So watch the puddle. We're going to be moving forward to the next room with this next one bucket is. So this is what we call the Indian Council Room. And this is also where the historic original entrance to the cave was.
The rooms in this one are much bigger than the previous caves we went in.
Well, this is where the historic original entrance was. Now, they covered up all the other entrances in 1936 and made the way we came in the only way in or out. The original entrance was actually right up here.
Oh, my goodness.
So this is
They
all
would-
concrete all the way down.
Oh, okay.
They covered it up and made it look like the rest of the cave. They did a pretty good job.
Yeah. So it was a pretty big entrance.
Well, no, the entrance was up here at the top. They just
Oh.
made it, they just covered it all up, so
Okay.
it was mainly up here.
So it was hard to get in here.
Yeah, there was just a kind of a path that the Indians would come down to get in here. But when they made a state park, they actually made a stone stairwell or staircase that came down, so you could actually get down a lot easier. So they would come in down through here. They would do their tour this way and then come back out and go this way. They'd exit at the other end and then walk back across to the north side of Park Road. So the Indians were here first. They were the Comanche Indians. Now, they did not believe in going any further in the cave than they could see daylight. So they never explored the whole cave. They never went to Queen's throne room even. That was just off limits for them. The Indians came down here because it was nice and cool in the summer and warm in the winter because it stays 68 degrees in here all the time. And then, right here is a particular mineral, this red colored rock, what we call chert, C-H-E-R-T, chert. And it is a flint-style rock that is very hard, and they can make arrowheads and knives from that. So they chiseled that down all around this room. So they were using the cave for weapons, basically. Now, in 1932, when this became a state park, the same year, Carlsbad Cavern opened up with an elevator that went below. Well, at the same time, they found out that over half the people visiting Carlsbad Cavern was from Texas. Well, you can't really have that, Texas going, people
Somewhere
going
else.
else, You want to keep them in Texas. So they started the first underground nightclub right over here. So there was actually a nightclub in this area over here. We're going to step up in this room here. So this room here is where they had some tables and chairs. I'm going to shine my light up, and if you see right up here, there is a covered area. That up above was a kitchen, and the kitchen would actually serve food down here to the cave.
Like pulley or something.
Yep, they had a dumbwaiter system that would actually bring the food down, and they would serve the guest and sitting in the Indian Council.
That is crazy.
Now, behind us where the light is actually where a bar was. There was actually a bar area back there, along kind of parallel with that wall. There was a 2,000 square foot dance floor right in here. Went all the way across, and there would be people dancing across this floor here. Now, as you see over here, this is our stage, and this is the picture of the original band that was playing on the stage back in the 30s. I've still yet to figure out the name of the band. They've told me in the past, but I forgot. But this is a kind of a new addition they just brought in. And I can show you. We're going to walk this way. Point out a little spot here. There's a little notch right here on this screen, right? It's actually way up here. So the band was actually a lot higher and further back in this stage area. People were dancing all the way up to the stage. You see the people down here. And the floor was higher, so everything was a little bit higher in this room in the past. Now,
So did they put in a wooden floor here?
yeah, there was a wooden dance floor here. They took it out in 1934. When the CCC came in, they took the floor out, and then they started working, and then they sealed in all the other entrances, which is that entrance was the only other entrance, but there was more holes, open holes into the cave. They sealed off all those other holes and other entrance in 1936 and made the only way in or out is where we came in today. So, this right here is also has a pretty neat, interesting thing behind. Okay, kind of goes with this stage area because of the lighting here. Behind this screen, you kind of see some light on the back wall. Can't really make out anything. This is where we'd like to show you. If you take a picture of that whole back wall of that screen, you're going to see what we call the old man of the cave. As soon as you get your screen up, and hold it up there.
Oh, wow.
See the face peeking over the top of that screen?
Yeah, right.
The head.
Yeah.
Looks like a face peeking over the top of that screen. So my 7-year-old came to work with me every day in the summer. He's 7 years old. He came up with the idea of starting a YouTube channel called Cave Chronicles. So he does
I'm gonna look him up.
talks about different stuff like that throughout the cave that we kind of point out. You don't see it unless you really take the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have another one that's right up ahead of us, kind of the same way. We're going to step over here. So, this is kind of neat. This right here, you stand right about right here. And I'm going to point out, this right here is a nose of what we call the cave dragon. So this is one eye, and this is another eye, and this kind of goes off of his face. Now, if you take a picture, it really shows up, and it looks like a monster, kind of a dragon coming out of the wall there. There he is. You got him. Pretty neat stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, just people come up with pictures, and if they come up with different pictures, they'll share them with us. And like I said, it just kind of got started not too long ago, so it's a work in progress, but my 7-year-old really enjoys doing it.
Yeah. Seeing things in clouds.
And now we're going down to what we call the gunpowder room.
That's kind of funny because a lot of movies, they put gunpowder in caves.
The truth is, there was never any gunpowder stored in this cave, but they did come after the bat guano from the Mexican free-tail bats that used to be in the cave. Now, as they cleaned up the debris in the cave, the airflow started going through a lot more, and it cooled off to 68 degrees. It was a lot warmer in the cave when it was a lot more less wind flowing through, and the bats did like to be down here. So when they opened it up, the bats left on their own, but they left traces. These dark marks is from their muddy feet. So that is mud that is on the ceiling. Now, they were in here so dense, there was anywhere from 300 to 500 per square foot. There was a lot of bats. Now, they had the byproduct of bat guano, and you could harvest that and get the potassium nitrate from the bat guano, which is the key ingredient in gunpowder. So there was a local guy named Uncle Bobby, and Uncle Bobby would come down here with young men to harvest this bat guano. Now, he was actually a hero in the area, and you say, why would he be a hero having kids shoveling bat poop out of a cave, right? Well, this is around 1861. This is when the Civil War was going on. And people were getting basically sent off to fight in the Civil War. And kids as young as 12, 13 years old were going to battle. So basically, they said if you're harvesting bat guano for the production of gunpowder, you're exempt from the war. So, hey, my kid's going to work for you, Uncle Bobby.
Yeah.
So he saved a lot of young people in this area. So, also, in 1967, this became a nuclear fallout shelter as well. Believe it or not, it would not have been a good nuclear fallout shelter. But they did bring in supplies and stuff like that to feed people in case they did have to use it. So they brought in these cans, and these cans had supplements, food, medical supplies in these cans, and they were all stacked up in the Indian Council room from 1967 to about 1989. They finally started rotting, and the cans started coming apart, so they finally started moving them out. And they got rid of those in, like I said, 1989. So, like I say, that was kind of a rash decision, but it would not be a...
Bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Flew by you. Yeah, they might come close, but nobody's ever got hit by a bat, even with my larger groups. But the rain is what gets them kind of stirred up right now. So
Yeah.
this is the most active they've been in the whole time I've been here. So.
Yeah.
It's like a streak. All right, we're going to keep on going. Y'all enjoying it so far?
Oh, yeah, this is nice.
This is what we call the chandelier room. There is a round stalactite formation up here. That's what they call the chandelier. And then there's more that kind of go along the walls here. So they call this the chandelier room.